In the quaint village of Willow's End, nestled in a valley shrouded by the dense mists of autumn, Elise lived her quiet life. An artist by trade and a lover of the macabre by heart, she painted worlds tinged with the surreal and the sinister. It was on one such shadow-draped evening that Elise's path crossed with Adrian. Adrian appeared during the village's annual harvest festival. He was unusually tall, his features meticulously handsome and his smile disarmingly charming. As he wandered through the stalls of homemade goods and seasonal treats, his presence caused a stir. A stranger of his elegance was a rare sight in Willow's End. Elise first noticed him by the apple cider booth, his laughter carrying over the crowd like a melody. Drawn to his enigmatic aura, she approached him, her curiosity piqued by this out-of-place visitor. "Enjoying the festival?" she asked, her voice mixing with the autumn wind. Adrian turned, his eyes locking onto hers with an intensity that sent a shiver down her spine. "Immensely," he replied, his voice smooth and inviting. "It's a charming little gathering. The spirit of the community here is quite palpable." They talked more, wandering among the lantern-lit stalls. Adrian spoke of distant lands and hidden lore, each word weaving a spell around Elise. When he invited her to see his collection of rare books and oddities, her heart skipped a beat in anticipation. His home was as peculiar as the man himself. An elongated structure shrouded in perpetual fog, standing alone on the outskirts of the village. Inside, the house was stark, the walls unusually high, the windows placed so far up they barely offered a glimpse of the outside world. As Adrian led her through his home, their conversation deepened. "You seem to collect shadows as much as books," Elise remarked, observing the sparse, dimly lit interior. Adrian chuckled, a sound that seemed to crawl along the walls. "One could say I have an affinity for things that dwell in darkness. Shadows are just as telling as the light that casts them." In his library, a massive room with shelves that stretched unervingly high, Adrian handed her a thick leather-bound book. "This might interest you," he said, "given your passion for the darker tales." The book fell open to a page marked with a black ribbon. It detailed a creature known as the Slenderman, a spectral entity that lured the unwary into its grasp with the guise of human form. Elise's eyes widened as she absorbed the description. The similarities to Adrian were unsettling. The unnatural height, the enigmatic presence, the shadow that seemed to flicker and stretch independently of its source. "Do you believe in such beings?" Elise asked, her voice a mix of fear and fascination. Adrian's eyes gleamed, a dark amusement in his gaze. "Belief is a powerful thing, Elise. Can turn shadows into monsters and men into myths. What do you believe?" Elise's heart pounded as a cold realization washed over her. "I believe I should go," she stammered, stepping back. Adrian moved closer, his form seeming to elongate, his shadow creeping along the floor like tendrils of smoke. "But we've only just begun to explore the depths of the night," he murmured, his voice changing, becoming hollow as if echoing from a deep, dark well. Panic surged through Elise as she turned to flee, but the room stretched impossibly long before her. Adrian's form blurred, shifting into something elongated and grotesque. His once charming features melted away into a pallid, featureless face, and his arms stretched out, ensnaring her with inhuman swiftness. "Why fear the dark?" Adrian's voice twisted into a sinister hiss. "When you've always found it so beautiful?" Elise's scream was swallowed by the enveloping shadows, her figure disappearing into the cold embrace of Adrian's true form. The slender man had claimed another soul, vanishing into the mists from which he had emerged, leaving behind a chilling void where once had stood a woman fascinated by the dark. And so the village of Willow's End whispered of the night Elise vanished, a night when the mists were thick and the moon hid away, fearful of what moved beneath its pale watch. Adrian, or the creature that wore his guise, was never seen again, his presence fading into legend. A warning whispered on windswept nights about the dangers hidden in beguiling shadows.